Hi guys, welcome back. There is a long gap for the revision classes. So somebody is asking whether revision classes will be there or not. Yes, revision class will be continue. As I promise you, I will complete the revision series until the partnership also. Due to some unavoidable situations, I am not able to take the classes. So from today onwards, I will continue the revision series. And another subjects also will add soon. Day by day, one day accounts, another day there will be another subject like that. The revision series will be continue. So please subscribe this channel Sikara Tutorials. You will get a more updates soon and follow this channel. So today I'm going to revise the AS16, the borrowing cost, a very important standard. The weightage of this standard at least 7 marks. Very important standard. So first of all, we are going to see AS16 borrowing cost. What is the meaning of borrowing cost means? Nothing but taking a loan is called as a borrowing cost. Next one is called as cost. What is the meaning of cost, sir? Whatever the loan we have taken, for that loan we have to pay what ma? Interest. That interest is called as a cost. Borrowing is called as a taking a loan. So what is the meaning of interest ma? Nothing but whatever the loan we have taken, for that we need to pay the consideration. That consideration is called as a interest. So normally this interest will be transferred to which account amma? P&L account. But some of the situations this interest will be treated as capital expenditure and we are going to add back to the particular asset. So we are going to see the total meaning of borrowing cost means nothing but these are the interest or other cost incurred in the borrowing of the funds. Not only the interest, there are some other cost also included in this standard. I will discuss later point of time. And next one, what is the objective of this standard, sir? Accounting treatment of the borrowing cost is the objective of this standard. What is the meaning of borrowing cost ma? Nothing but interest on loan is called as a borrowing cost as of now. So what is the meaning of accounting treatment? There are two terms are included here. First one is called as recognition principle and second one is called as measurement principle. So what is the recognition principle, sir? Recognition means when we need to recognize in the books of accounts. What is the meaning of measurement principle, sir? How much amount we need to record in the books of accounts. So recognize whether the borrowing cost is capitalized or revenue in nature. We have to decide whether the interest is called as capital in nature or revenue in nature. We have to decide. Next, how much amount we need to disclose. The cost to be capitalized and the cost to be treated as revenue we need to decide. So these are the two principles will be applicable as per the accounting treatment point of view. You will get the total clear picture after some time. So first of all, what is the meaning of capitalized and what is the meaning of revenue we can decide. The meaning of capitalization means the borrowing cost incurred for the purpose of qualifying asset. Any borrowing cost incurred for the purpose of qualifying asset is called as, then only we can treat it as what ma? This interest is called as capitalized in nature. If it is other than qualifying asset means then the borrowing cost should be treated as revenue in nature. Okay, sir. What is the meaning of what we have to do if it is a capitalized in nature? We have to add back to the asset. If it is a revenue nature means we have to transfer to the P&L account debit side. Now first we have to decide what is the meaning of qualified asset. So the meaning of qualified asset is nothing but the asset which takes the substantial period of time to get ready or intended to use or sale. For example, if you take a building, the building construction of a building, we are taking the process. We are not going to purchase the building which was constructed. We are going to construct the building. So for the construction of building, how much time it will take ma? It will take the 2 years. So for that reason, this building is called as qualifying asset. What is the meaning of substantial period ma? Substantial period means generally 12 months or more. In some of the situations, the substantial period will be less than 12 months also. Okay na guys. So for this construction of a building, we have taken a loan ma. On that loan, what we have to do? We have to pay the interest. So that interest will be considered as borrowing cost. That borrowing cost should be treated as capital or revenue, capital, because interest paid will be added to the building, because we are incurring the interest for the purpose of what, for the purpose of a qualifying asset. Nothing but qualifying asset means like a stitching clothes. Okay, not a qualifying asset means what, like a ready-made clothing. It is called as okay. I think you understand the concept of example number one. Once again, what is the meaning of qualifying asset, Anything takes the substantial period of time to get ready or intended to use or sale is called as a qualifying asset. In this first example, we have taken a loan for construction of a building. For construction of a building, how much time it will take, More than 2 years. For that reason, this is called as qualifying asset. For this qualifying asset, we have taken the loan. On that loan, what we need to pay, We need to pay the interest. This interest should be capitalized. Nothing but we have to add back to the asset because it is a capital in nature. See the example number 2. We are going to purchase the building, We are going to purchase the building which was already constructed. So for that reason, this is called as a ready-made item. So before example, we are planning to construct the building, but now what, we are planning to purchase the building which was constructed already. For that reason, this is not a qualifying asset. For the purchase of building, we have taken a loan. On that loan, we are paying what, interest. This interest should not be capitalized because this interest we are paying not for the qualifying asset. So that reason we should transfer to which account, We should transfer to the P&L account, debit side. I think, did you get the point or not? Yes. So next note point. In some of the cases, substantial period may be what, less than 12 months can also be considered as justified. I will discuss at that point of time. The following types of borrowings will not be covered in the AS 16. What are the borrowings, sir? For example, borrowed fund by way of issue of shares. Okay, now we are going to borrow the funds by way of issue of shares. Sir, here issue of shares is nothing but what, we are taking a amount from the public, and again we have to pay the or not, yes, we have to pay. But the equity shares are preference shares. In the form of equity shares are preference shares. Any amount we have taken from the public, okay, now we have to be repaid only at the time of what, winding up. In between we have to pay what, dividends. Here, this taking the equity shares or issuing the preference shares is not a borrowing as per AS 16, they are saying. They have given a clarification. That's all. Next, I have already told you, not only the interest will be included here, the borrowing cost, there are some other items also. So what are the items are here? Interest charged on borrowing. So normally interest is called as what, borrowing cost. We know normally. Next, second point, amortization of premium on borrowing. So what is the meaning of this sentence, sir? You will get to understand by seeing this example. Debentures are issued at the rate of how much, 100 rupees. Normally the issued price of debentures is equal to how much? 100 rupees. At the time of redemption, what is the meaning of redemption, amma? Let us imagine XYZ Limited have issued the debentures to one of the person. At the time of issue of debentures, XYZ issued for how much, 100 rupees. At the time of issued, we are going to receive the amount. We have issued the debentures and we have received how much? 100 rupees. At the time of redemption, what is the meaning of redemption, We have to repay the value of debenture. At the time of redemption, we have paid totally 110 rupees. Okay, now here the difference between 110 and 100 is equal to how much, 10 rupees. This 10 rupees is called as a premium amount. Okay, now this is nothing but what, premium. This will be the cost for taking the debentures. Okay, now this is called as normally interest also. Okay, now this cost also will be considered as what ma borrowing cost. So if the company issuing any preference shares or equity shares, that is not forming part of borrowing cost. Okay, now if the company issue the debentures and at the time of redemption they are going to redeem at a premium, so that is called as what ma borrowing cost. The premium is called as the borrowing cost. Issue of debenture is called as a borrowing. Are you getting the point or not? That premium is also called as borrowing cost as per AS 16. Okay, now that thing only I have explained here. Next one, ancillary cost. What is the meaning of ancillary cost, sir? Processing fees, loan raising fees, etc. For example, have you remember the credit B loan apps? And there are so many loan apps. So Navi loan, like that. While taking the loans, they will give the loan for, imagine, 1 lakh rupees. They will sanction how many rupees? 1 lakh. But they will not give the 1 lakh rupees in total ma. They will reduce the amount 10,000 for processing fee, like that. So here 10,000 is called as nothing but what ma? Processing fee. That processing fee is also called as what ma? Borrowing cost as per AS 16. That is nothing but ancillary cost. Processing fee, loan raising fee, etc. Whatever they may call, they may charge some of the expenses. They will not give the total 1 lakh rupees. So next one, commitment charges. What is the meaning of commitment charges, sir? For example, we are interested in loan taken after how many months, amma? 6 months. But normally we are going to construct one house property. For that house property, we are not going to construct now. After 6 months, we are going to plan one construction of a house property. But now only we are going to bank and we are going to take the loan. Okay, guys. For that reason, the loan is sanctioned now itself. For example, imagine today's date is 25th October 2025. So this date we have gone to the bank, but we are planning to construct the house after 6 months or November. After 6 months. Okay, now. But loan has sanctioned today. Loan has sanctioned on today, but we are going to take the loan after 6 months. Sir, here the manager having a one risk point of view. Already loan has sanctioned, sir. If you don't take anything, it will be a loss to us. For that reason, what the manager will ask, the bank manager will ask to pay the commitment charges. What is the meaning of commitment? Means, yes, sir, exactly, we will accept that loan. Not now, but we will take the loan after 6 months, because if we take the loan now itself, we will incur to some other thing, not for the house construction. For that reason, what they will do, we are going to take the loan after 6 months, but we have to pay what, commitment charges. What is the meaning of commitment? Yes, sir, I will accept that loan after 6 months. That is called as a commitment. So like that, commitment charges also will be forming part of borrowing cost. So next one, financial charges. In the case of financial lease, so we have discussed completely about AS 19, nothing but leasing concept. In that leasing, we are having the two types of leases. One is called as operating lease. Second one is called as what, financial lease. So in the financial lease, we are going to calculate the interest. That interest is nothing but what, finance cost. That finance cost will also be considered as borrowing cost in AS 16, they are saying. And next one, exchange loss of foreign loan. So in order to explain this content, I have taken a loan. I have taken one example. See here. They are going to plan. What, They are going to plan. They are going to plan for taking the loan. Okay, na? So imagine there are 4 to 5 members. We are the group of people. We are going to plan for taking the loan. The interest rate is 14% in India. When the interest rate in USA is how much, 6%. Where you will take the loan, So wherever the interest rate is low, we are going to take the loan there itself. So normally we are the Indians, but we are going to attract and we are going to take the loan in US. Okay. The loan taken on 1st October 2025 on how much rupees, on $1 lakh. What is the loan amount? $1 lakh. An exchange rate on that date is equal to how much, 80 rupees. So convert that $1 lakh into the Indian rupees. How much we are going to get? 80 lakhs. $1 lakh into 80 rupees, that is equal to how much, 80 lakh dollars. Okay, now. So this 80 lakh dollars is called as a monetary item. So have you remember the concept called as AS11? So in that AS11 is nothing but accounting for foreign transactions. So I will show you just a second. Just a minute, Amma. Yes. This is called as accounting for foreign currency transaction. So I think we are having the two types of recognitions. First one is called as initial recognition and second one is called as what ma? Subsequent recognition. At the time of initial recognition, we have to recognize at which rate ma? At a rate of spot rate or average rate as a case may be. You all know. But when coming to the subsequent recognition, we are having the two items. When it is a profit and loss item, we are going to recognize at a same value which we have taken at the initial recognition itself. What is that value, ma? So spot rate or average rate as a case may be. When coming to the balance sheet items, we are having the two types of items. First one is called as monetary item. Second one is called as non-monetary item. What is the meaning of monetary items, ma? The value should not be changed. For example, cash balance, bank balance, bills receivable, bills payable. So trade receivables, trade payables. So these are the values are called as what, ma? Nothing but loan taken, loan given. These are all called as receivables, prepaids, outstanding. So for these items, the value will not be changed. Okay, now if you take the asset value will be changes in the form of what, ma? Depreciation, like that. So whatever the value is not changed, that is called as what, ma? Monetary item. Monetary item is not only the asset, it will be asset or liability. So monetary item will be recorded at which rate, ma? Closing rate. When coming to the non-monetary item, will be recorded at, if they are carrying at a historical cost, means what we will do, ma? It will be recorded in the spot rate or average rate as a case may be. If it is carrying at a fair value, means what, ma? Revaluation is already completed. For that reason, we have to consider as what, ma? Closing rate. But here the important matter is this one, ma? Monetary item is valuing at which value, ma? Closing rate. Remember this point. So that thing you have to apply here, ma. Okay, na? So we have taken a loan in USA of rupees how many dollars, ma? Of 1 lakh dollars. So 1 lakh dollars into 80 rupees, that is equal to how much, ma? That is equal to 80 lakhs. So this 80 lakhs rupees, we need to value in the, we need to recognize where, ma? At the end of the year, we have to recognize this amount. At the end of the year, what is the end of the year, ma? 31st March 2025, we have to recognize this amount at a closing rate. What is the meaning of closing rate, ma? As on the at the time of preparation of balance sheet date, whatever the date is called as, that date is called as what, ma? Closing rate. So what is the closing rate given here? 83 rupees. So 1 lakh into 83, that is equal to how much, ma? 83 lakhs. Okay, now what is the exchange difference here? Initially we have booked it, we have recorded the In journal entry in the books of accounts for how much amma? For 80 lakhs. At the time of preparation of financial statements, what is the amount we are going to record in the financial statements ma? 83 lakhs. The difference between the 80 lakh and 83 lakhs is how much? 3 lakhs. Here the 3 lakhs is called as what ma? Exchange difference. Normally this exchange difference will be transferred to the P&L account debit side. But thoda sabar karo. We have to wait. So here normally directly this 3 lakh will be transferred to the P&L account. As per this one is called as what ma? AS11. But we have to see how much amount of interest we have saved. Okay na? Up to the amount of interest saved will be treated as what ma? Capital expenditure. Whatever the remaining is there will be transferred to the P&L account. I will say it. So see the interest savings amma. So as per India, how much amma? 83 lakhs into 14%. In India, how much? What is the percentage of interest amma? 14. In USA, what is the percentage of interest amma? 6%. Then what we are going to get ma? 83 lakh into 14%, that is equal to how much? 11 lakh 62,000. Here in USA, how much amma? $1 lakh. What is the closing rate? 83. Nothing but here also same amma. 83 lakhs into 6%, how much amma? 4 lakh 98,000. How much amount of interest we are going to save ma? 6 lakh 64,000. This much amount of interest we have saved. Okay now, what is the exchange difference we are getting? 3 lakhs. But interest we have saved how much amma? 6 lakh 64,000. So the 6 lakh 64,000 is more than 3 lakhs na. So normally the 3 lakh will be transferred to where ma? In the P&L account debit side. But here the interest savings is more na. So up to the interest saving, that means this 3 lakhs should be treated as what ma? Capital in nature, and we have to add back to the asset, and we should not transfer to the P&L account now. Okay na. For example, if the exchange difference you are getting 7 lakhs amma. Exchange difference you are getting how much? 7 lakhs. In that situation, up to 6 lakh 64,000. So you have to treat it as capital expenses, and the difference amount nothing but 36,000 will be transferred to the P&L account. I think you have got the clear picture about this point. So that thing only here also they are saying ma. See here, exchange difference up to the borrowing cost. Up to the borrowing cost difference should be capitalized, and remaining exchange difference will be transferred to the P&L account. In this standard, this is the most important point. So till now what we have discussed ma, once again I will repeat. So we have discussed about the borrowing cost ma. What is the meaning of borrowing cost? Normally interest is called as a borrowing cost. Not only the interest, other cost also will be included here itself. So what are the other costs ma? One is called as amortization of premium. What is the meaning of premium ma? At the time of redemption of debenture, we are going to redeem at a higher price is called as a premium. That premium is also called as what ma? Borrowing cost here. So next one is called as ancillary cost. What is the meaning of ancillary cost ma? Ancillary cost is nothing but processing fees, like that. Next one, commitment charges. What is the meaning of commitment charges ma? We have to give the commitment and we have to pay certain charges because they have sanctioned the loan before the utilization date. Okay na? How many months they have to wait ma? 6 months is the example. Next one, whatever the finance cost as per the financial list, that cost, that financial cost, nothing but that interest will also be forming part of borrowing cost as per AS16. Next one, exchange loss. Up to the normally the exchange loss will be transferred to which account amma? P&L account. But up to the savings in interest, we have to treat it as what ma? Capital in nature. The difference amount only will be transferred to the P&L account. So this is the total concept we have discussed till now, and we have discussed about the qualifying asset. What is the meaning of qualifying asset ma? It will take the substantial period of time to complete to that. What is the meaning of substantial period of time ma? Substantial period of time means more than 12 months. Normally, in general, less than 12 months also will be there. Okay now, whatever the amount of borrowing cost you are incurred for the qualifying asset, that thing only we have to treat it as what ma? Capital expenses. Otherwise, we have to transfer to the where ma? P&L account debit side. Normal expenses you can treat. Okay na guys. Next, the most important concept amma. This thing only they will ask in the examination. So very, very important concept. Types of borrowings. So there are two types of borrowings amma. First one is called as specific borrowing. Second one is called as general borrowing. What is the meaning of specific borrowing, sir? Borrowing taken for a specific purpose is called as a specific borrowing. What is the meaning of general borrowing amma? Borrowing taken for the general purpose. Okay na? So normally We are going to the bank and we are going to say the banker, sir, we want a housing loan. So housing loan is called as what ma? Specific borrowing. So we have to use that borrowed amount only for the construction of a house property or purchase of a house property, whatever is it. Okay, now if you take the loan of housing loan is called as what ma? Specific borrowing. If you take the business loan, this is also specific borrowing. So generally you have taken a loan, that's all. There is no any specific purpose. It is called as what ma? General borrowing. If it is a general borrowing, how to calculate the interest, how to charge that interest, whether it is a capital interest or revenue interest, we have to see. If it is a specific borrowing means how to charge, we have to see that thing. First we are going to discuss about the specific borrowing and then we are going to discuss about the general borrowing. The most important concept, please listen very carefully. What is the meaning of specific borrowing, Amma? These are the borrowings specially for taken for the qualifying asset. If you take any borrowing for the qualifying asset specifically, it is called as what ma? It is called as a specific borrowing. If you take other than qualifying asset, it is called as what ma? General borrowing. So the borrowing cost is eligible for the capitalization. So how to compute, sir? See the computation process. Actual borrowing cost during the construction period. Only during the construction period we have to consider, minus income on temporary investment of ideal funds of this borrowing. So you will get understand this meaning only through an example. I will discuss that one. What are the things we have to reduce ma? Income from the temporary investment of ideal funds of this borrowing. I will explain, no problem. Loan taken on 1/4/2025. What is the date of taken loan? 1/4/2025 of how much amma? 100 crores at the rate of 12% for 12 months for construction of a building. We have taken a loan for construction of a building. How much amount we have taken ma? 100 crores. What is the percentage of interest? 12%. So that means this is called as a specific borrowing, a general borrowing. Amma. We have taken a loan on a specific purpose for that reason. It is called as what ma? Specific borrowing. We have taken for the qualifying asset, not for the qualifying asset. Ma? Qualifying asset. Why we are going to call it as qualifying asset? Ma? It is taking a substantial period of time to get ready to use or intended to use or to sell. Okay na? So for that reason this is called as what ma? Qualifying asset. So this borrowing is called as what ma? Specific borrowing. Okay na? Borrowing, so which was computed on 31st March 2026. So the taken loan taken on which date ma? 1/4/2025. We are going to compute on which date ma? 31st March 2026. That means total 1 year completed or not ma? Yes, totally 1 year was completed. The company invested the ideal funds. What is the meaning of ideal funds ma? In totally we are having 100 CR. In that 100 CR we are going to utilize only 60 CR now, and remaining 40 CR they are going to invest in the bank account. And okay na, if we invest anything in the bank account we are going to get the interest or not ma? Yes, they also ended the interest of rupees how many crores ma? 0.5 crores. Nothing but 50 lakhs of interest they are ended. Ideal amounts. This is called as what ma? Ideal. This amount we have earned by way of what ma? Putting ideally. Putting what ma? Putting ideally. This interest we are not going to get for the this interest we are going to get for the ideal investment which we have put it in the bank account. So this interest we have to reduce. This interest we have to reduce. So how to calculate, sir? Total borrowing cost incurred 1 year or what ma? For 1 year. We have taken a loan for how much amma? 100 CR. What is the percentage amma? 12%. So 100 into 12% into 12 months divided by 12 months. That is equal to how many crores ma? 12 crores. But we have to reduce how much ma? And temporary idle funds we have to reduce na? 0.5 crores. We have to reduce that thing. And finally how much amount you are going to get ma? 11.5 crores. This 11.5 crores will be treated as what ma? Capital interest. Nothing but we have to add back to the building. Okay, now 11.5 crores. So this is called as a capitalization. So borrowing cost to be capitalized. This is example for what ma? Specific borrowing. So the most important item, example for calculation of what ma? Calculation of borrowing cost in the case of general borrowing is very important. Please remember this one. Borrowings that are not a specific are general borrowings. Not a specific nature is called as what ma? General borrowing. In this case, the qualifying asset is funded from the pool of general borrowing. Sir, for example, generally there is no any purpose of taking the loan. For example, I have taken a loan of 100 crores of one loan and another 100 crores of another loan. So you will get to know here. Please wait a second ma. So we are having the two types of loans, ma. One of the loan is called as ICICI bank loan at the rate of 12%. How much amount we have taken, ma? 100 CR. And there is HDFC bank loan at the rate of 14%. How much, ma? 75 CR. Are you getting the point? So what is the total amount of borrowed loan, ma? 175%. There is no purpose here. We have taken a loan on both on same days. Okay, na? On 1/4/2025, this is also 1/4/2025. Is there any purpose? No. For that reason, this is called as what, ma? General borrowing. First of all, for the general borrowing, we have to calculate the capitalization rate. What we have to calculate, ma? Capitalization rate. How to calculate the capitalization rates are simple. So total interest divided by total borrowings into 100. Total interest divided by total total borrowings into 100. How will get the total interest, ma? Simple, amma. So 1 crore into 12%. 1 crore into 100 crores into 12%. How much, amma? 12 CR. And then after what, ma? 75 crores into 14%. That is equal to how much, amma? 10.5 CR. This is called as total interest divided by total borrowings of 175 crores into 100. That is equal to how much, amma? 12.86% is the total capitalization rate. What is the first step? Number one, we have to find out the capitalization rate. Okay, na guys? We have to find out what, ma? Capitalization rate. So next, we have to see on which date onwards we have to start at the utilizing of that fund for the qualifying asset purpose. So see this one. So funds are utilized for construction of a building. That means we are going to utilize it for the purpose of qualifying asset, not for the purpose of qualifying asset. For the purpose of qualifying asset, we are going to start. On which date? On 1/4/2025. That means on 50 crores, we have to charge the interest for how many months? 12 months. 12 months we have to charge because on the starting of the year. Second one, amma, on 1/7 means how many months we have to charge? So remove the 4, 5, 6. So 9 months we have to charge. On 1/1/2026 means how many months, amma? 3 months we have to charge. This is for 12 months. Here it's for how many months, amma? 9 months. This is for how months? 3 months. Because the date of utilization we have to see. From there onwards, we have to calculate what, ma? We have to calculate the interest. Are you getting the point or not? So first, what is the step number one, ma? Calculation of capitalized rate. Okay. What is the formula for the calculation of capitalized rate, ma? Total interest divided by total amount of loan into 100. So next we have to see what is the date of utilization, ma? 12 months. So 50 crores. How much amount we have utilized, ma? So total in that 175 crores, we have utilized only how much, ma? 50 crores. So for that reason, see here, 50 crores into 12.86%. We have got this percentage on from step number 1. So for that reason, 50 crores into 12.86% into 12 by 12. Why we have taken a 12 by 12, ma? Because from the first day of year itself, we have utilized that amount. So how much we have got, ma? 6.43 crores. And next one, 75 crores into 12.86 into 9 divided by 12. Because we have taken a we have utilized that loan for on which date, ma? 1/7/2025 we have utilized. So 7.23. So here 25 into 12.86 into 3 by 12. Because we have utilized the amount on 1/1/2026. That means only 3 months amount. For only 3 months we have to charge the interest. So the total amount of 14.46 we have to treat it as borrowing cost, and we have to do what, ma? Capitalize it. What is the meaning of capitalization, ma? Capitalization means we have to add back to the asset. I think, is there any doubts? So I will solve. There is a one sum I will discuss at that point of time. And next, amount of borrowing cost to be capitalized, it depends upon the various factors, ma. So when to start and when to stop and when to suspend. In some of the situations, we should not treat it as capital. We have to treat it as what, ma? Revenue. Even though starting point and ending point in between, what will be there, ma? Suspension. Suspension means nothing but suspended. What is the meaning of suspended, ma? If any person suspended from his job means what, ma? Is a temporary purpose, and again after that suspension period, he will continue the services. The same way, suspended means what, ma? Temporary purpose. Cessation means what, ma? Permanently stopping. So when to start the doing of capitalization? Okay, na? Commencement of capitalization. When to start, sir, means borrowing cost must be incurred, amount utilized for the qualifying asset, unnecessary activities to be started. These 3 points, these 3 conditions to be satisfied, ma. So how many conditions we need to start satisfied? 3 or only 1 na? All the 3 conditions must be satisfied. From the day itself we have to start the capitalization of borrowing cost. Imagine you have taken a loan. Borrowing cost must incurred on which date, ma? 10th January 2025. Utilized for the qualifying asset on 13th January 2025. Necessary activities we have taken from 15th January 2025. That means on which date onwards we have to start the capitalization? We have to start the capitalization from 15th January 2025 onwards. I think you understand the point, ma. So borrowing cost incurred must be incurred, and the amount should be utilized for the qualifying asset, and necessary activities to be taken for starting a construction of a building or anything. If all the 3 conditions are satisfied, then only we have to start the capitalization of the interest. For example, Tillu loan taken on which date, ma? 1st January 2025 at the rate of how much, ma? 9% for construction of a building. Qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset, ma? Construction of a building means it is called as a qualifying asset. Then borrowing cost incurred from which date, ma? 1st January 2025 to 15th January 2025 will be treated as what, ma? Revenue nature, because on which date we have to start, ma? On 15th January. So from this date to what is the date of taken loan? On 1st January 2025 to on 15th January 2025, we have to treat it as that borrowing cost. We have to treat it as what, ma? Treated as revenue expenses from 15th January to till the completion of the building, till the completion of a construction of a building. So up to that point of time, we have to charge it as capital. So after the construction of building, what we need to do, ma? We need to treat it as revenue in nature. So capitalization will be start from which date, ma? Will be start from 15th January 2025 till the completion of a construction of a building. And this is the most important point. Suspension of a borrowing cost. What is the meaning of suspension, ma? Temporary purpose, permanent, ma? Temporarily closing is called as what, ma? Suspension. So the necessary activities were temporarily closed, then the borrowing cost should not be capitalized for that period. Example, have you seen the Raghuvaram B.Tech film, ma? So in that Raghuvaram B.Tech film, there will be a labor strike. So on that labor strike, this is a default of us. Okay, nama, this is abnormal activity. If you control all these things, labor strike will be there or will not be there, ma? Will not be there. For that reason, this abnormal activities is called as what, ma? Temporarily suspension. So construction started from 15 January 2025. Construction completed on which date, ma? 31st March 2027. So normally in this period, whatever the amount of interest you have incurred, that interest should to be capitalized, ma. But now there is a labor strike from 1st April 2025 to 31st May 2025. So this period interest we have to be suspended. That means we should not treat it as capital. We have to transfer to the P&L account, debit side, treat it as a revenue expenses. So see the next example, amma. So this is the most important example. This is the most important example, ma. Construction of a bridge started from 1st January 2025. From 1st April 2025 to 31st March 2025, there is a high tide situation. High tide is a part of the process. High tide means what, ma? Tide means nothing but some of the situations, if the rain is more, the tides will be more flow. At that point of time, we cannot do the construction. So this is a part of natural thing. This we cannot do anything. So for that reason, this period we should consider as we should not consider as a suspension. Okay, now we should consider at in this period, whatever the borrowing cost we have incurred, this will be treated as what, ma? Capital in nature. We should not treat it as a revenue in nature. Please remember this point. The first situation, the labor strike is an abnormal activity, amma. In the second situation, so high tide situation is called as what, ma? The tides will be more high, we cannot do the construction. In this situation, so we cannot do the construction at all. So this is a normal cost. So this is not an abnormal activity. In this period, whatever the interest we have incurred, that interest will be forming part of what, ma? Capitalization process. We should not transfer to the P&L account. So construction completed on which date, ma? 31st May 2026. So we can do the capitalization from 1st January 2025 to 31st May 2026 without any suspension. So the second example is more and more is important. And next one, cessation. What is the meaning of cessation? Completely we have to stop doing of the capitalization. So ceases capitalization when substantially all the activities are necessary to prepare the qualifying asset are complete. Sir, normally the construction work will be completed. The interior designing work, electrical fittings are only pending. So whatever the period we have to consider, sir, we have to consider the period up to the construction. That's all. The interior designer period. So next electrical fitting period, we should not consider a month. So the major modifications such as decoration are pending, so it will still indicated as what substantial activity are completed. Okay now, when the construction of qualifying asset is completed in parts, some of the situations the part one part must be completed, then only the next part will be considered. So like that, so they are going to consider the part basis. Imagine, so AK Towers have taken a project for construction of a telephone tower. They are going to construct how many towers? 4 towers. So these are the part performance. How many towers they are going to construct? 4 towers. So in this, Tower A and Tower B ready on 31st March 2025. So this Tower A and Tower B can do their activities without constructing the Tower C and Tower D. So dependent or independent? So these are independent. For that reason, so Tower A and Tower B can be used even the C and D has not ready. So we have to stop the capitalization. If it is dependent means what we need to do? Dependent means up to the completion of C and D we have to wait. But here independent or dependent? Independent. For that reason, up to this date only Tower A and Tower B interest to be charged as capitalization. After this date we should not charge. But on this date, Tower C construction and Tower D construction is there completed or not completed? Not completed. They had to be completed. But they are dependent or independent? Independent. For that reason, so on the Tower C and D, we have to continue the capitalization. On the Tower A and Tower B interest, we have to charge it to the P&L account from the date of 31st March 2025 onwards. I think you are getting a clear picture about these things. So the main important concept of this standard is called as only these points. Commencement, when to commence, suspension and cessation, and then after general borrowing and specific borrowing. So there are only 2 questions given in the standard. So if you complete discussion of these things, we can get ready. You will get a clear picture about these things. I will upload this PDF in the Shikara Tutorials website. There will be a free resources available. You can get there itself. Okay, today I am not feeling well, so for that reason I am telling somewhat fast. If you not understand any concept means you can refer once again. So whatever the things we have taken as examples, those things only will be available here also. So slowly I will read the question and you can follow. So just a second guys. T&L Limited is a large construction company which are presently involved in a construction of a railway bridges over the Ganga River at Patna. So T&L Limited is going to construct what? Bridges. That means qualifying asset and all, not a qualifying asset, qualifying asset because it is take a substantial period of time to get ready. So at Patna of River Ganga, the project cost is how much? 125 crores and 40% of which was financed by the borrowing from Asian Development Bank at an interest rate of how much? 3%. What is the interest rate? 3%. What is the amount of borrowed loan? 125 into 40%. There has been delay in completion of the project, and the project manager of the railway bridge construction side have identified that the delay of construction of the railway bridges has been happened due to the high water level due to the monsoon months of July to September. So high tide situation, high tide situation from where to where? From July to September. So this is a normal work process, due to in the high tide situation we cannot do anything. The Miss Sonali through the accountant of TL Limited has not suspended the capitalization of borrowing cost and reflected the same into the cost of qualifying asset. So whatever the action taken by the Sonali as a cost accountant, so this is his intention is correct or wrong, amma? His intention is correct only, because during the high debt situation we cannot do anything. So in that period, the whatever the borrowing cost, we should not suspend. Okay, now we have to continue, we have to capitalize in the books of accounts. What is the meaning of capitalization, ma? We have to add back to the cost of the asset only. We should not transfer to the P&L account. This is a forming part of construction. So that thing only will be stay here. See here, ma. In this case, the work got suspended due to temporary delay of necessary part of the construction process. The capitalization of borrowing cost should continue during the extended period also. Due to the high water level, delay construction of railway bridges, as a high water levels are common due to the monsoon season. Okay, now those are the common, those are the common. So we cannot do anything. If it is a labor strike, means what we need to do, we can suspend it at that period of time, because the labor strike is called as what, abnormal item. So next one. So this is the most important question. We may expect, we may get this type of questions in the examination. On 14/4/2022, Pushkar Limited obtained a loan from RER Bank for how many lakhs, ma? 65 lakhs. It will be utilized as under. Okay, na? So the total 65 lakh is general borrowing or what, ma? General borrowing. Okay, na? Total 65 lakh is a general borrowing. If it was utilized for the purpose of qualifying asset, means we have to treat it as capital in nature. Otherwise, we have to transfer to the P&L account debit side. So purchase of equipment. Sir, purchase of equipment, it is a ready-made item. It is called as what, ma? Ready-made item. We should not do the capitalize. It is not a qualifying asset. Construction of a factory shed. Construction of a factory shed. It is called as what, ma? It is a qualifying asset, because for the construction of a factory shed, it will take a time. So for that reason, it is a qualifying asset. On this amount, whatever the interest is there, will be treated as what, ma? Will be treated as a capital in nature. So adverse of purchase of delivery van. So purchase of delivery van of rupees 6,50,000. It is also called as ready-made item. Whatever the ready-made item you have purchased, that is called as, that is not a qualifying asset. We should charge on that amount of interest to the P&L account debit side. Working capital. So working capital is normally it is also not a qualifying asset. So see here, ma. Purchase of equipment, not a qualifying asset. Construction of factory shed, qualifying asset. Advance taken for purchase of a delivery van, it is also not a qualifying asset. Working capital, not a qualifying asset. So in March 2025, the installation of machinery was completed, and also construction of a factory shed was completed, and the machinery installed. However, the truck was not delivered within a 31st March. Even though it was not delivered, we have paid the advance or not, ma? Yes. On that amount, we have to charge the interest or not? Yes. The total interest charged by the bank for during the year, how much, ma? 11.70. So the total interest is 11.70. How much interest we have to apportionate for the purpose means, so we have to take the proportion, amma. See here, what are all the amounts? First write all the amounts. 19,50,000. What is the second amount, ma? 26 lakhs, 6 lakh 50, 13 lakhs. 26 lakh, 6 lakh 50 and 13 lakhs. So these are the four amounts we have taken. So the total interest is equal to how much, ma? The total interest is equal to 11.7%. The total interest is equal to how much, ma? 11.75. 7 only. 11.7 lakhs. 11.7 lakhs. So this 11.7 lakh we have to apportionate on this proportion. Can you tell me what is the total amount, ma? Anyone in the class? Can you tell me the total amount? The total amount is nothing but 65 lakhs. Total amount is equal to how much, ma? 65 lakhs. What is the proportion of first thing? 19.5 lakhs divided by 65 into 11.7. Like that we have to calculate. What is the second point, ma? 26 lakhs divided by 65 lakhs into 11.7. So like that we need to make the apportionment. So interest to be capitalized only for the which one ma? For the qualifying asset. Interest we should not, we should transfer to the income statement for which things? For a not qualifying asset. So like that we have to open how many columns ma? 4 columns. So how did we get the 3,51,000 ma? 11.7 is the total interest. What is the proportion ma? 19,50,000 divided by 65 lakh. So like that proportion we have to calculate. Whatever the amount related to the qualifying asset will be treated as what ma? Capitalized, and not a qualifying asset means will be treated as what ma? Revenue will be transferred to the P&L account debit side. It's the most important question. We may get this type of question in the examination. Please remember. So these are the two questions only we are having, pertinently in the board book also. We will get only in these two types of questions. So this is the overall standard. So if you want, you are not understanding anything, you can contact me in the Telegram channel. Okay, you can put the messages in our main Telegram channel of Shikara Tutorials. Okay, or if you are not understanding, you can watch this video in another time. Okay, na guys. So thank you for participation. Tomorrow I will come with another standard. So totally up to now we have discussed the standards called as AS11, AS1 is pending. I think the remaining all the standards was completed. So somewhat fastly only have told you because this is a revision class. So this PDF will get soon, will get in a free resources. You can download from there itself. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.